All right, folks, welcome into a very special edition of Bears Predictions. As you know, my name is Dad Swearsky, and I'm here at my brother Bill's bar, Swearskis. All right, as I said, this is a very special episode as the Bears are beginning their certain journey to another Super Bowl. And as they win four more games, they will be crowned undoubtedly the next champions of the National Football League. All right, I'd like to talk about my extended absence from the show, as I have not been able to record one of these videos for the YouTubes in quite some time. All right, well, the truth is, I've been suffering from a couple, some health issues. I've had 7 heart attacks in the past 14 weeks of NFL football. Now, the doc thinks that it may be related with with the Bears games because every heart attack has occurred with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And my brother Bill has actually suffered 9 heart attacks, and well, he cannot be here as he is recovering from his most recent heart attack. Ironically, that's the same number as that guy I saw on TikTok that thought he was the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. All right, well, on to the game where the Bears will undoubtedly begin their march through the playoffs to another Super Bowl victory. All right, the Bears are facing a team. Well, that team will remain nameless, but another team from the north, and I will name one guy from this game, and that is a certain quarterback by the name of Jordan Love. All right, Jordan, you got a lot of nerve coming back into Soldier Field after what we did to you, but you know there's a very good chance you're going to be lying on your back on the Bears logo on the 50-yard line, staring up at the snowflakes. All right, let's go on to the winning side of the game. All right, this Bears team is beginning to remind me of a certain team from the year 1985. You got to go way in the backpack, but we're going to make some connections to, certain Bears from the 1985 that remind me of the current Chicago Bears. All right, let's start with the mighty DeAndre Swift. This guy can shift and run his way to a first down in any situation. Reminds me of none other than the late, great Walter Payton. May he rest in peace. Salud. All right, moving along. We also have the great Kyle Manungai. Now, this guy reminds me of a certain guy by the name of Matt Suey. Now, if you needed 2 yards, Matt Suey was your guy. He would run it up the gut and get you a sure first down. All right, on to the wide receivers. For the Chicago Bears, we got Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. All right, now, Roma Dunze reminds me of the mighty Willie Galt. And, I think that Luther Burden streaks down that sideline like Dennis McKinnon. All right, on to the quarterback. Now, Caleb Williams is a bit of a different quarterback than the mighty Jim McMahon. He's a little better behaved, to be honest, than Jim McMahon, but both share, a willingness to win, make the throw in the clutch, and lead the Bears to a certain victory. All right, the last one I'm going to make, some of you might say, Dad, it's a little too soon to make this comparison, but I do believe that the mighty Colston Loveland will emerge into a perennial all-star, a future Hall of Famer, and maybe one of the greatest coaches in history, and will remind you of none other than God himself, Mike Ditka. All right, well, my final prediction for the game is that, of course, all these guys will score maybe 2 to 3 touchdowns, but in honor of the mighty 1985 Bears, my prediction for the game is that the Bears are going to beat a team that will remain nameless from the North. 46-10 will be the final score, and the Bears will advance to the second round of the playoffs. All right, folks. Well, enjoy the game, and cheers, or as they say down here in Mexico, salud.